Where can you find a wall?
I don't know.
Like in your house? You can do it at home?
About, are there? So.
Video number 2, guys. So if you haven't watched the first one where we talked about different scenarios where you might have issues resulting in back injuries and things like that, then go back and have a look at that. We talk about where you might see it in the gym, or problems you might have, and also from a day-to-day environment. We now have Will joining us, and we're going to go through mechanic point of view. So in the gym, 2 common areas that we kind of see and that we addressed last week, or in the last video, sorry, are the squat and deadlift, also lifting from something from the floor. Mechanically, the things that you want to focus on is our initial setup. So you can see Will's in a nice stacked position, what we would refer to as our bracing position, where everything is nice and aligned from the middle of his head, straight through his spine, into his hip, all the way down to the floor. When you're squatting something, okay, the main thing that we want to load up is our posterior chain, lower back, glutes, hamstrings, nice and evenly. To initiate that, he's going to send his hip back. This is what we would class as our position 2, okay? So we're loading up through that posterior chain, and we know we're nice and even. From there, he's going to bend evenly between the hips, shoulders and ankles, down to the bottom of his squat, maintain that nice flat back here, loading through the hip, and then he'll be standing up again evenly to that top position, okay? Main things we want to focus on is that initiation from the hip and making sure that we don't get pelvic tilt. So if you lift your arms up, just so they can see, bring your pelvis back, that position that we don't want to see, okay? Make sure that stays nice and stable as you move into the position. From a deadlift point of view, same process, we're starting from that very top position, nice and stacked, so we know we're even through the body. Then he's going to lower himself down to where his knee is. Again, look, nice flat back position, loading through the glutes, into the hamstrings with that vertical shin, and then he's coming down to the bottom position, again, moving evenly from the hips and shoulders. These are coming up at an even rate. Standing back up, extended evenly, all the way through to the top, into that squeeze position. What we don't want to see on this one, guys, when we're going down into that bottom position, so in our position 2 is either curvature through the spine, okay, or as we're lifting ourselves up, so go back into the bottom position, is uneven lift between the hips and shoulders. So hips coming up early, then the shoulders is the most common one you'll see, okay? Basics of mechanics, guys, put that into as many applications as possible, not just the gym, if you're picking something off the floor, if you're sitting down on a toilet, if you're sitting down on the sofa. Think about good squat mechanics. Cheers, Will. Sod off. Okay, so we're going to bring in Rach now. Rach, we're just going to talk a little bit about day-to-day environment and things. So we looked at our back position. So over at our keyboard, I can get really bad flexion there. From your keyboard environment, the keyboard warriors, we looked at tight hips from sitting all the time. So these are the couple of things that we're going to address, okay? So first of all.
So obviously if you're sat at a desk all day, where's the hip? It's in this position here. All your hip flexors are going to get nice and tight. So what do we need to do? We need to flex these. So a little stretch for our hip flexors.
Now we're going to get a bit of camera movement.
Okay, so this is going to be the right hip is going to be the one that I want to stretch. Okay, we're going to get yourself in this position here. You're going to lean yourself as far forward as you can to feel a nice stretch at the front of your thigh. And if we lift the arm up as well, it increases the stretch further. Okay? You guys want to try and hold these for at least 30 seconds and try and do them at least 3 times during the day.
So guys, we're in this position, we're thinking about her right hip, making sure that pelvis is pushed forward as much as we can, okay? That's going to be opening up that joint, which is where we want to work on. Cool?
Perfect. For you guys who
check out the squat.
Look at this ankle range. For you guys who might want to use a foam roller instead, that is also fine.
What can we do for that?
Shall we grab a foam roller?
Grab a foam roller.
Grab a foam roller.
Edit this. So I'll foam roll, you tell me what to do so they know. Okay. We'll focus on my right side.
Okay, great. So if we're using a foam roller to get a bit of a release instead of a stretch. Huh?
Start again from that bit.
Okay. If we want to use a foam roller instead to get some release work into those hip flexors, then Phil is going to beautifully demonstrate for us. What we need to do is place the foam roller where his right hip flexors are, at the front of the thigh. Okay, using his body weight to get some good pressure through. And we can obviously roll backwards and forwards across the hip flexors. Alternatively, what I find to get a better release is if you stick with a particular point that feels quite sensitive and tender. Stay with that point, okay, for around 30 seconds or until the sensitization begins to subside. And then you literally will move a few millimeters and you'll probably find another tender spot too. So again, stay with it and just work your way from the top of the hip all the way down the thigh, because one of our quads is actually a hip flexor too. So if we're rolling the hip flexors and quads, they're going to get a much better release in there.
Sweet. Cool. Oh, it. Need like a drone to hold us around.
Literally.
Cool.
And obviously another thing we spoke about is that kyphotic thoracic spine position where we're bent over like this. Okay, so a good exercise to help correct that would be using a wall. Okay, you're going to get yourself close to the wall, hands sort of shoulder width apart. For anyone that might have a shoulder injury, you might need to adapt the positioning of your hands. You might feel comfortable going a bit wider. Just have a little play around with it and see what's comfortable for you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to send the hips back and try our best to bring our chest closer to the wall. Okay. What a lot of people tend to do is what Phil mentioned earlier, where you're sticking that bum out, putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. We don't want that. So we want you to stay nice and tight through your core, sending the hips back, dipping that chest towards the floor, and coming up again.
So guys, the main things we're focusing here is keeping that lower back, so here, locked as a constant, and trying to get that flexion and extension through the upper back, okay?
Yeah.
Those are the main things. So don't just sit there and do some sort of butt wiggle, okay? We want to have that extension through the top part of your back. So where you're weak or we don't have the range, that's what we want to be working on.
Definitely.
Cool.
In terms of reps and sets, just try and do as much of this as you can a day. If you wanted to put some reps on it, maybe sort of 3 sets of 20. It's a really quick exercise to do. Just find yourself a wall and crack on.
Where can you find a wall?
I don't know.
Like in your house? You can do it
There's
at
not many
home?
about, are there?
So no excuses on that one, guys. We see that a lot because of most people spend all their day at a computer. Just have to adjust this. Yep, most people spend their day at a computer, so that's an easy one to do. There's absolutely no excuse. If you want to get good development on being able to get into good position, do them. Okay. It also helps with your dancing, a bit of body pop. Okay. Next exercise.
So if you guys wanted to improve your squatting position because you are leaning forward too far when you're getting into that bottom position, we can use a goblet squat to help keep your chest up in a good position. Okay? So for a lot of you this will mean scaling back quite a lot, but it's definitely important to work on technique before we're increasing weight. So goblet squats. Beautifully demonstrated by Philip. Okay, you're going to keep the kettlebell just in front of your face. Okay, sending the hips back, squatting down. Okay, making sure that we've got a good extension through our thoracic spine, nice flat back. Okay, and then coming up. Perfect. So this is going to challenge you for those who do have quite a rounded upper back, because it means that with the kettlebell in the front, you are going to have to... goblet squats are really good to use to help increase your thoracic spine extension.
Cool, guys. So following from what we looked at then, the main things we want to focus on is establish the weak areas in your movements, whether that's in a gym environment or an everyday environment, making sure that you're addressing it, so counteracting those environmental hazards. So from sitting at a desk, make sure we work on that T-spine or lower back issues from bending and moving in an incorrect format, whether that's at the gym or in your day-to-day environment. If you had any questions on this, guys, or you got any things you want to ask us, pop them in the comments below. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you think someone else is going to like it, share it with them. Until next week, we'll say goodbye.